and medium enterprises, performance-related challenges for those that are making sure that renewable energy products and services are rolled out. I'll be introducing my guests very shortly. Let me first give you a preamble. According to the Uganda Investment Authority 2022 data, small medium enterprises are the engine of growth for economic development, innovation and wealth creation in Uganda. Over 2.5 million Ugandans are employed therein, which accounts for 90% of jobs in the private sector. The energy SMEs are categorized under the service sector, which makes up to 49% of the total number of SMEs in the country, thus contributing at least 44% of the country's gross domestic product. Regardless of their contribution, renewable energy SMEs face performance-related challenges due to ineffective business governance and access to finance. We shall be understanding what that is and what exactly can be done to better the business landscape for them. From Belli Advisory, I have with me Aidah Semakula. She is the Director, Business Consulting, and Hanifer Namutebi is a business lady and, of course, buried in the dynamics of energy. You're most welcome to the program, ladies.
Thank you.
I'll begin with the lady from Belli Advisory.
Yes.
I always like advisors, financial or otherwise, because you have a whole scope of information and perspective that should be able to take us forward. First, bring us up to speed with the energy SME world and the finance architecture.
So we have seen that these, recently we have seen that, of course, we are appreciating that SMEs cannot operate outside of access to finance, right?
That's right.
And that's not different for energy SMEs as well. So for the time we've worked with the energy SMEs, our main goal is to link them to financial or investors that really speak to their ventures and would like to see their ventures grow. So in as much as the renewable energy space is growing in Uganda, and we are seeing a lot of improvements and uptake of renewable energy products, most of the renewable energy SMEs struggle to advance their initiatives, their ventures into different geographical markets, but also into different products and compete favorably with international players. So that's where then access to finance comes in, to fund these ventures and to see that they thrive.
Okay, and what exactly is the push that Belli Advisory brings on board?
Okay, so Belli Advisory is a business development consultancy firm. We support SMEs to achieve their strategic objectives. That's right. And for us, renewable energy SMEs have been a going concern on our side to see that you know, with even in line with the climate change initiatives that are happening worldwide, we are putting in our effort to see that renewable energy SMEs also have a chance to compete favorably, but also to sort of make the impact that the whole world is looking to. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for that overview. Hanifer, you are a business lady and must be running one of the SMEs that are buried in the energy sector, renewable energy sector. That is, first and foremost, take us through what you do, the line of business, but also tell us about the real challenges that you face.
All right. Good morning once again. I'm Namutebi Hanifer. I work with BM Energy, CEO of BM Energy. It is a company that produces energy-saving stoves and other energy-related products. We've been in the industry for about a while, over 20 years now.
Wow.
We do production of energy appliances, and we are looking through other stages where I want to advance and develop to the such that we can match with our ongoing technologies, with the upcoming technologies.
That's right.
Now, one of the challenges we face as businesses setting up facilities, because in most cases we start our businesses with not proper aligned strategies. We start our businesses with a motive to survive and earn a living. Then in the end, on joining different partnerships, different synergies, you're able to acquire a lot of knowledge and information, and you get to know how different you can do things. Yeah.
Okay.
So the major challenge is there is a knowledge gap. Then the capital, like the kind of work we do is capital intensive.
That's right.
Yeah. So you're supposed to look for more synergies on how you can improve your finances. Then even the knowledge itself still, that is why I gave it as the first benchmark or the first topic, because it's the highlight. Without the knowledge, you can't get to know how you're going to break down the challenges you're going to face as a business. Yeah. And with the challenges we face, everything rotates still about finance.
Around finances.
Yeah, around finance.
Talking about the range of services and the products that you roll out, what is the market like for now?
In the central, I think we've exhausted like most of the market for the central, because we are doing the households, the ones that use briquettes and charcoal. That's right. Yeah, for the central, it is highly exhausted, and now we are competing with other technologies, which are 20% now imported to the country. So we also want to expand. The business is at the growth stage, but we are looking at expansion in other markets that have not yet accessed these other technologies. But at the same time, we are also looking at the upcoming technologies such that we match and we are not left out with the opportunities in the market. Okay. Yeah.
It's interesting to hear a business person speak of the imperative of profit, but also hinged on an initiative, for example, climate change. One would ideally think all that matters now is to sell the product and not really look at the knowledge gap and seek to be able to close it. And that falls to perhaps you closing the knowledge gap, especially for the operators within this space and the beneficiaries, who are usually the customers and other stakeholders. What is the line of, what is the rollout of, how are you doing this to ensure that you address that particular challenge, as she said, but also ensure that they still are able to make some money? Because at the end of the day, it's business.
So under our private sector, and that I like that you said that at the end of the day, everyone gets into business to make money, right? But can we be more cognizant of sustainability issues as well? So under our private sector development, that's where we offer the business development support services. And in there, we are also looking at ESG as a topic that's coming up, right? How sustainable are your processes, even as you're making money, right? In terms of the social aspects, who are you recruiting? How are you sourcing your materials and your products? And how are you getting them to the market? So yes, we can strike a balance between profitability and sustainability. But again, that's where we are passionate as Belli Advisory when it comes to working with renewable energy SMEs, because we know the impact, we know what that does for us in terms of the environment, and so the push is really to see that there's a lot of uptick and there's an excellence in the way they do their things, such that they are competitive even with the fossil fuels. Yeah.
Okay, let me keep to that, which is pretty much climate finance. Yeah. Climate finance, the ability to galvanize as enough money as you want, that is driven to aspects like mitigation and adaptation for any other business, be it businesses that are undertaken by the likes of Hanifer Namutebi. When it comes to the various products available, do they come as different from the normal financing architecture? For example, if an energy loan is out there, how does it work? I think that's a question that should go directly.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
And say, for example, energy finance, is it accessed as conventionally as this other capital, or there is a little bit of, what can I call it? There is more favor, perhaps. You can get the money more easily than the other.
Actually, what I think, a loan is a loan. A loan is a loan. Let's start from there.
All right.
It's just that the terms and the benefits are changed, and the tables of negotiations are better.
Okay.
Relating to maybe other sectors. Okay. In particular, I'm not conversant with energy, but at least I know there is always a negotiation ground for any particular loan you get. But even the loans themselves, this is the time when they are coming in because the global banks are pulling out of the market, like giving us the money, because the kind of business we do is quite risky for the money lenders.
Okay.
But still, it is giving opportunity to the development partners to come in and join, to understand the kinds of things we do. Then we also stand a higher chance of having better terms, and smaller rates, when negotiating on the loans.
What is the level of engagement for now between you as sector players or stakeholders and the government?
And the government. Actually, the government is helping us through the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. What they are doing, they've helped us with the standardizations. We've had, they also enabled us have different associations, because under the renewable energy we have different sectors and different categories, because we have solar, we have biomass, we have fossil fuels, we have like a variety.
That's right.
So they have to categorize such that they get a clear understanding. Such that it also becomes very clear for someone who is just joining the market to get to know that if I'm solar, which particular association am I supposed to fall in? So through the Ministry of Energy, we've been able, actually in collaboration with GIZ, we've been able to acquire such knowledge. And the basics, okay, in case you're coming into the market, your solar or your cook stove, what particular standards are you following to make up, to come up with a proper product on the market?
All right. This one is for you. In the recent years, there's been a strong push for decarbonization in the commercial world, driven by apparently two things: public perception and support of companies based on their green credentials. When you hear the word green credentials, sometimes it causes a little bit of nervousness within businesses. Do they have the green credentials after all, including processes and how they roll out some of these products? As an advisor or a company that is dealing with making sure that business improves, when it comes to green credentials, how do I put this question? What is your rating like for Ugandan businesses? I don't know whether you've rated Namutebi and company. Is she green? There's dealing in green products, but when you're not green. For example, I'll be very specific about this. You could find a company that deals in renewable energy products, and then when you enter their office, the first thing you see
is plastic.
So the credentials can be suspect in that case. How is that being addressed?
I think it's not yet popular for companies to really go sustainable and also to be very cognizant about their processes and the way they work. I will say though that in so many other ways, companies are actually saving the environment a few carbon emissions here and there, but they're not tracking them. That's the problem. So we are not very intentional in the way we do things, and that we must admit. Maybe that should change, right? But again, that is why the support for renewable energy SMEs is great, because this is where you say, well, as Belli Advisory, we are not going to be, we're not going to track our carbon, we're not going to be very cognizant about the plastic and how we reuse or how we handle our waste, but can we invest in Hanifer, who is saving the environment maybe a few carbon emissions with her stove, right?
That's right.
Can we inject money in Hanifer? That way we balance it out that way. And so we are seeing that most of the international organizations are going green in one way or the other, but for Ugandans, not yet. And maybe that's where we need to push, right? We need to push for renewable energy SMEs, to have a chance,
How is the reach out to rural areas where the conversation itself about renewable energy is, first of all, not understood, misunderstood, and there is some reluctance to adopt. Yeah. How is it?
But I'll ask you, where's the biggest problem? Kampala. When you travel to your village, to your village, what's the air quality there? So we are very quick to say, oh wait, what about the guys in the village? But what are you doing in Kampala?
Okay.
What about the car emissions? From your car, from your old second-hand car. You know, so I would say before we drive the conversation. I would say before we drive the conversation to the rural, maybe can we start here? What can we do differently here? I mean, if you do not know, if you are not going to be intentional about it, then can you get some cash and buy some carbon credits?
That's
right? Can you trade on the carbon market? That's the least that we can do.
Okay, you just introduced something I was going to Namutebi, but first let's finalize this whole aspect for us to understand carbon credits and carbon trade. Just in a very simple language that my people out there can be able to figure out quickly.
In a very, very simple language. You have, like I've already explained to you, Aidah is not going to be intentional about decarbonization. But Hanifer is, right? So I will go to Hanifer and buy some credit and say, for every so much of emissions that I put in the environment, Hanifer, I am injecting money in your business such that you can do better and sort of save those emissions in another way. Hanifer, do you want to compliment what I've said?
Not even complimenting, simplify it further.
Now the way this does, if you have an appliance, for example, a cook stove, you take it for testing. We have testing centers in Uganda. There is Creek, there is Sakudo. So you take it, you get to know your efficiency. That when I'm producing this stove, this particular designs, because with every design, you come up with a different efficiency. Okay. So when you go to the testing centers and they tell you that, okay, your stove is saving, let me 40%. It is 40% efficient. Then they also calculate, there is one for efficiency and there is one for emissions, whereby they'll give you the tons of the carbon tons it's saving the environment. So when you're rating on the market, there are organizations out there, actually not here in Uganda. In Uganda we have a few, but still they are linked to the global market. So when you go to the global market, you're like, I have this particular stove, this is the kind of design I have, and this is the number of emissions it's going to save the environment. So they will tell you that for every carbon credit, like for every carbon credit from the stove, maybe we are giving you this much. But in return, you're going to improve A, B, C, D, and your efficiency as well. Okay. Yeah. So that is how we trade. You sell, give evidence that you've sold. When you give evidence that you've sold, they'll give you the agreed amount of money for it. Then you'll have to implement depending on the terms you negotiated.
That was what I wanted, the agreed amount of money, because we understand money. But I hope it's not sharing trade secrets with regard to the kind of business that you're doing. All right, we are fast running out of time. I would like to give you guys an opportunity to wrap this up, but most importantly, there must be something I've forgotten.
Like
all these particular, you know, on enhancing access to finance. Anything that I've left out? I'm human. But anyway, so what's next? What's the way forward when it comes to the galvanization of these players, these stakeholders who are doing these businesses across the country, in order to create the kind of momentum required to drive the climate change and mitigation agenda? Is it something that is overly left between the consultants like Belli Advisory and the business persons? I know government has all these initiatives coming up, and I hear conferences here and there, but the intention sometimes and the drive is not there. What is the best possible strategy on innovation, enhancing finance, anything?
I would say that there are so many things that we can do, but as Ugandans, as Mwanaichi, like they say, can we improve uptake of these renewable energy products? Could you move away from your from your stove currently and try to purchase one that's saving 33%, that has 33% efficiency. The smaller things like those, right? Uptake of solar products, right? We have so many people are setting up farms. What are you using for irrigation? Are you using a petrol pump, or can you use a solar water pump? Can we do something to support these SMEs on the demand side, create the demand such that they can sell more, right? Because we always look at government as the problem solver, but we never look inside. What can you do with your cash, right? That can advance energy SMEs in Uganda.
They need to, for example, go ditch completely the use of charcoal is pretty much important, because even in Kampala, the apartments we see high-rise, they still use charcoal. When you're selling the renewable energy story or narrative, how do you talk to somebody to whom cost is an issue? Because renewable energy could be costly to some people who find it pretty easier to continue using the normal firewood and charcoal. How do you sell the renewable energy story? You're a businesswoman now. You're a marketeer. Do your thing.
In the early stages, we're having like either it's an open fire or entirely metallic. So when we are doing the improvements, we transition generation by generation. Even when the charcoal stoves fade out, as a business person, you're supposed to be in position to strategize yourself for the transition that is coming along your way. So you cope up with the coming markets. Meaning that right now, if we still have an opportunity to sell stoves that have charcoal, we are also supposed to create an opportunity that looks further for the next generation. What am I going to do in case the charcoal is phased out, or it becomes expensive, or people want cleaner solutions? Because I can't compare my stove with an EPC. You get an electric pressure cooker.
Electric pressure cooker.
Like there is no way, not rating, not power, not. But I'm still using the minimal opportunities that are still there. That some people don't have access to electricity. The bills are quite high, so I'm using that too. I'm maximizing the opportunity for now, but as well looking at the different generations on how we transition.
Who right now is best suited to use your products? Schools, institutions?
An average income earner.
Average income.
Someone who can, because the stoves I sell range from 15,000 to 30,000. So someone that can afford 250,000 a month is able to purchase my stove.
I should be able to take it on.
And what's the warranty period?
Warranty is 1 year. That is if it is, the default is on the manufacturing side.
Can it do
but in case of poor handling, I do all that.
All right, thank you very much. Hanifer Namutebi, business lady and director at BMI Energy, for the perspective. Many thanks to you too. Aidah Semakula, consultant at Belli Advisory. That's it for this particular Kickstarter discussion. Stay with us if you can. My colleague Priscilla Regina Naloga will be up with Take Note, and the discussion is into the National Drug Authority manual to block fake medicine. You will be able to understand that 90% of the off-the-counter drugs that you're buying in an average pharmacy are fake, counterfeit, and not up to purpose.